in May 2024, US senators proposed a resolution to reject China's mischaracterization of the UN resolution from 1971, 2758, saying Beijing's claim of sovereignty over Taiwan based on that resolution is not accepted by the world. US Republican Senator Jim Risch said of Resolution 2758's passage, I quote, "It does not mean the world accepts China's claimed sovereignty over Taiwan. Moreover, the United States' One China policy is not the same as China's One China principle," said Risch. Chinese leaders know this, but spread this propaganda to deny Taiwan's ability to engage with international organizations. This resolution sets the record straight. The United States can and should push back on China's false narratives at every opportunity. Professor Vocke, so tell us, how does the One China policy say of the United States? How does that differ to the One China principle of Beijing? And how has Beijing managed to conflate the two, as Risch says?
It's a subtle difference, and the difference is really crucial. The difference is that the United States says, this is your issue. This is an issue between Taiwan and China, and it's an issue for you guys to decide. That's our policy. Our policy is it's your decision. China says Taiwan's part of China. And China has managed to conflate those issues because of the subtlety of the difference. And also because of its geopolitical presence, economically, politically around the world. Countries like Nauru, for instance, which just switched relations, cite things like the 2758 resolution as a reason for doing it, when actually there is nothing in the resolution that makes that criterion. So China is able to do it simply because it's a very confusing issue in terms of the legal issue.
So in terms of Nauru, that's interesting, because I guess what they're saying is that as they have a One China policy, this would indicate that they believe that there is the only one China, and they've decided that that's no longer Taiwan, it is the PRC.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So does that give, I mean, unless Taiwan changes its name, its official name, does it actually give them a basis to do that?
There is nothing in the resolution, and there's nothing in international law that prevents Taiwan from having whatever name it would like. The Republic of China, the Republic of Taiwan, the Republic of Far East Asia, whatever you would consider. It's not a question of name, it's really a question, back again, as Dr. Lee said, to geopolitics. It's a question in which, I'll go back to my point about international law. It's not a contract, it's a handshake between people, and some of those people have relatively different positions of power. And as a consequence, whether that relationship is instrumented depends upon that upon the power relationship. So the argument about whether Taiwan is a country or not, about the legal piece is for me somewhat irrelevant. Taiwan is in all de jure respects, except for recognition, a country. People say, well, the United Nations doesn't recognize it's not a country. Switzerland didn't join the United Nations until 2002. And certainly no one could say Switzerland wasn't a country before 2002. So the legal arguments in some sense are an argument between scholars on the head of a pin. China will do what it believes from its perspective is right. And that right says Taiwan is part of China. And it will use whatever it needs to do around the world to make that happen.
Professor Lee, so we talked about the confusion or the conflating of One China policy with One China principle. So again, what is China doing when it's conflating One China with Resolution 2758? What narrative is it pushing there?
China is trying to compete with the United States and with Taiwan for control of a narrative about the nature of the status quo and who is disrupting it and who is revisionist. So by trying to conflate One China policy and One China principle, China tries to make it seem like countries recognize Taiwan as being part of China at some point in history. So far and so long ago, people don't even remember what exactly was in the communiques. And so unless people are intensely focused on this issue, they may not know when China is actually trying to distort the narratives and alter documents and replace the term, say, Republic of China with China in a document. So I think that this is really about maintaining a competition over what is a status quo, who is defending it, and who is a revisionist party in this dispute.
If I could, if you want to make the claim that Taiwan is a country, I think the best way to make that claim is to go back to the second purpose of the United Nations, which is the respect for the self-determination of peoples. And clearly the Taiwanese see themselves as a distinctive people. All the election survey results show that. And that's a claim that is true of countries around the world. Czechoslovakia just broke up between, not just, but broke up between the Czech Republic and Slovakia on the basis of them being two distinctive peoples. And so that to me is a fairly powerful thing, since it's the second point of the first article of the UN Charter.